What would you say are 3 brutal truths that young men need to hear in order to become more successful in life?
You have to be willing to trade the things you love right now for the things you want. And you may not like the price of what you want, but you can't change the price. And so there's all this groveling that goes back and forth for younger men of like basically wishing it didn't cost this much time or cost this much failure or cost this much risk in order to get to where they want to go. And so they basically stomp their heels and then, retreat inwards into their basement and video games and whatever else, rather than confronting their own inadequacy. Because the first thing you have to do is say, it's my fault. Everything that I have in my life is my fault. But if it's your fault, it's also under your control to change, because you cannot change what you do not control. And so to me, it's taking full accountability. So that's number one. The second thing is, if you want to change your behavior, change your conditions. And so one of the most powerful things that you can do is change who you surround yourself with and where you live. And so if you have an environment of people around you who speak ill of you or like basically reinforce the wrong traits or the wrong actions, there's a reason I left Baltimore. And there's a reason you left, right? As I went to where I was like, I want to get into fitness. And so I was between Miami and Southern California. I was like, those are kind of the fitness capitals. I'm going to go to one of those places because I want to do fitness and I want to be around the best. And so Baltimore is not the capital of fitness. And so me changing my environment allowed me basically a blank slate to start behaving the way that I wanted without interference, because a lot of people have interference in their surroundings. And so I think it's a lot of times you have to, I think this leads to the third thing. So you change your environment. That's number 2. The third is delete everything that is not getting you closer to your goals. And so I have used that. This razor has not changed in my life, which is probably the 2 most often asked questions that I have, that I like mentally think. I probably think of 10 times, 20 times a day, is number 1, does this action, this person, this decision increase or decrease the likelihood that I achieve my goals?
Yes
Simple
or no?
as that.
Yeah.
Does it increase or decrease? Does this friend who always wants to go out, does you playing fantasy football increase or decrease the likelihood that you hit your goals? And that is just, it's black and white. It's pretty, like, it's pretty, like, which, what, now you can make the whole, like, but shouldn't I have I'm talking about winning. If you want to talk about, fulfillment and all the joy and all that stuff, like, I'm not the guy for that.
Yeah.
But if
because
it's about,
fulfillment is winning for you.
For me.
That's your hobby. Your hobby is winning. Where some people have hobbies for joy and fulfillment, you have hobbies which are to win.
I like looking back and enjoy it, because memories pay dividends in the future. And so suffering lasts only for a moment, but the memory of the achievement lasts forever. And for me, I love like looking back on what I've done only insofar as it excites me about what's to come. And so, so delete everything using that question. And the second question, which is it might be my favorite question in general, which is, what would it take? And the reason I love that question is because it assumes success. So if you go up to some girl who's way out of your league and you're like, what would it take? It assumes that she's going to go out with you. So
or she's going to say, you need to make this much, you need to do this, you need this, and she's going to give you the answers.
Fine. Right.
And then do you want to pay that price?
Exactly. Either you don't like the shoes or you don't like the price. You got to pay it if you want it.
Yeah.
And so what would it take? And it's like, hey, if we have a deal that we're working on, I'm like, what would it take? Now you can make the decision whether the price tag's worth it, but at least you learn the price. And what I have found in my life is that when I try to answer those questions, like, what would it take for me to be number 1 in this field? What would it take for us to lead this market? What would it take for me to be the best salesman in this company? The answers are not as crazy as you'd think. And so a lot of people spend most of their time answering questions not worth answering. It's playing games that aren't worth playing. It's like, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And so no one asks the question before they play the game, is this game worth it? And so when you ask the question of like, what is the big goal and what would it take? then you just get to solve for it. And to me, it's just great. If I know what it is, then either I have those resources or I have to use my resourcefulness to get them.
Yes.
But it's under my control. And these are how the big leaps in my life have occurred. When I wanted to get in the gym business, I was like, okay, what would make it the highest likelihood that I hit my goals? So what I did was I'd saved $50,000, 23 years old. I lived on nothing. I saved $50,000 and I traveled to California because I was like, all the best fitness people are here. Then I joined a gym mastermind of all gym owners. I didn't own a gym. I joined a gym mastermind without owning a gym. And he was like, you sure? And I was like, yeah. He's like, why? I was like, well, I figure I'll learn from everyone else's mistakes before I start.
Smart.
Right. So the first thing I said was like, where do you guys open? One guy's like, oh, I have a terrible location. I would have done this. Another guy's like, oh, and then the guys who had the best locations, like, what was it? Okay, well, how many square feet should I have? Oh,
Right.
how should I organize the gym? What equipment? Oh, no.
Should I buy or lease?
Exactly. I thought I was going to, they're like, oh, don't buy those. They're really expensive. I thought I was going to use them. No one uses them. Oh yeah, girls trip on those. Don't use them. And so I was like, I was just taking all these notes. And so then I was like, okay, if I'm around the best gym owners and I'm learning from them, then I can be at year 10 in my career on my first year, because if I do what the best people did, I will get what the best people got. And so I've always just focused on what did they do? Forget the energy, forget the manifestation, forget the vibrations and the frequency. Like, what did they do? I will do that. And not only will I do that, I'll do way more of it, because I don't want to just pace them. I want to beat them.
Yes.
And so, like Kobe, it's like if he's working out, if the best guys are working out twice a day, he's like, well, I got to work out 3 times a day because they're already ahead of me. So if I'm working out twice a day and they're working out twice a day, then we're going to advance at the same pace. But I got to work out 3 times a day. If this guy's doing $100 a day ad spend, I got to spend $500 a day. If this guy's doing, one piece of content, I got to make 10 because he's better at it than I am. So I have to make 10 just to make up for my skill deficiency. And so again, this volatility is a consequence of volume, is that you're typically just not doing enough. And the people who outwork you, they output you.